How's it going?
Good. I can't see you yet.
You want to see me?
Yeah,
Okay, sure, yeah. Here. Sorry, my camera quality is not great right
no
now.
problem.
Let me just turn on the lighting here. Hopefully that'll help. How are you doing, by the way?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I saw that you're from. Sorry it took so long to get this dealt with, but I'm glad we finally got it sorted with these three questions. And it's cool that you're from Minnesota because we're practically cousins. Because we're from I'm from Canada, and then you're also kind of from up north as well.
Yeah. Aren't you? Are you in LA now, though?
I go back and forth
Okay.
from Vancouver and Los Angeles. So I guess if I were to say we're more cousins, I'd be more in Ontario than Minnesota because that's like kind of like just a straight shot down. So also
Yeah.
sorry, my hair is crazy right now.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
hmm
Yeah, so you're the head of the Discord for
I do. I
or
do the
The Reddit, sorry.
both. Well, they're both associated.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So before I start on Fire Emblem, in terms of anime, would a World Trigger be the first thing you did?
World Trigger was the very first anime series I did. Yeah. That was the it was actually my very first series that I ever booked. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was Shin Midori Kawa and a character named Miyoshi. And then in seasons 2 and 3, I ended up playing some more characters like Kai Minamisawa. So that's yeah.
how did you personally take the dubbing?
How did I take the dubbing?
Take the
Uh,
dubbing.
so when I started on World Trigger, uh, it was my first experience with dubbing in general, as well as just recording a TV series. So at first, it was almost like juggling a whole bunch of different things at once. Uh, because you have to for dubbing, you have to also specifically for World Trigger, you have to, um, you have to look at the script while also looking at the footage, while also matching, the lip flaps at the same time. And so it's like I kind of relate it to having, trying to balance milk on your head while you're trying to like rub your tummy at the same time, or like patting your head while doing that, or just like going like, okay, I'm doing all this stuff at once. But you do it a few times and then you tend to get used to it. So luckily that is that is what happened. I would be really disappointed in myself if wasn't used to it by now, but I am. So it really just kind of like syncs up, you know what I mean? It's great. So, and I really enjoy it for
I would I would guess too that you're like a fan of anime and games in general.
I am totally. I mean, I'm currently playing Fire Emblem Engage. I'm currently playing the as well as the new Dead Space. I'm also playing some old stuff as well. I have some old retro systems hooked up to a CRT. So I
Oh,
have yeah, so I have an old Sony Trinitron that I'm using to play my old PS1 on to play Chrono Cross. So
wow.
I'm currently playing through that. I also just bought the remaster on Steam as well, so I can I because I wanna compare and contrast the two, on top of also just being able to play it so it looks like, super nice and like HD and crisp with the new character models and everything. But also it's great to play the original too because you get that, you get the I guess the original experience as it was released, whereas in the new one you get the you get the updated character models and everything. So you kind of get the best of both worlds.
hmm Have you played many of the Fire Emblem games too before this?
So, I remember I was introduced to Fire Emblem through Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
Right.
So I was in grade 6 when Super Smash Brothers Brawl came out, and I was introduced to Fire Emblem through Ike and Marth. And I played and my friends would always just like they would always use Ike and just use up B and just like all the time, and because at the time I wasn't that great of a player, I couldn't I couldn't figure out a way to get out of a lot of Ike's moves. So I eventually, when the 3DS came out, I found out about Fire Emblem Awakening. I played that. I loved it. Crom, Lucina, everyone. Because at the time I hadn't played a tactical RPG.
Mhm.
So at the time this was very new to me. It was very strategic. It was very I guess using your wits in order to get out of a situation that you couldn't really have the same experience with in terms of a turn-based RPG. So I really vibed with it. And then Three Houses came out, and I played that, and Three Houses Three Houses was amazing as well because there's so many characters that have a lot of, deep backstories and everything that because the monastery, that's what the kind of the monastery is for, you go around and that's you get to know these different characters. And now I'm playing Fire Emblem Engage, and now Ike and Marth are both in the game, and it's awesome. It all just kind of comes full circle like that, which
Right.
is it's pretty amazing. And Fire Emblem Engage is an amazing game. I absolutely, I love the characters. I love the gameplay is awesome too. Just I'm just so over the moon with it. I love it.
Was that a pretty general audition when it came up?
It's hard to, kind of know what you're going to book and what you're not going to book when you're a voice actor, because sometimes you'll think that you're right for a role, and you just don't end up booking it. Sometimes you think you are, or sorry, sometimes, and then sometimes you think you are and then you don't. So there's this weird thing where this kind of like dichotomy where I'll give you an example. I did a different gig a few years ago. It wasn't a few years ago. It was last year, and I thought I bombed the audition because I didn't think the acting was up to snuff. I didn't think I was dramatic enough. I didn't think I had enough going on in terms of like the editing, and I was surprised to find out that I booked it. So sometimes you just kind of, you never know what you're gonna get in terms of you kind of just have to try your best. You have to do the character work. I do a lot of analysis now in terms of my auditions. So I'll go into my auditions, I'll do, I'll try to crack the character, and, find a way to relate to them, on top of just, understanding the core story itself, the scene, everything that's going on surrounding everything. So that kind of, sometimes it will come as a shock, and sometimes it will make sense, but you kind of never know when it comes to, being a voice actor.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you've got a good idea, if you think it's your bread and butter, definitely, definitely have confidence in it. But sometimes you'll get surprised, which is nice too.
Well, in terms of developing his voice, it sounds like it's pretty close to your natural voice for Alfred.
Yeah, yeah, it is. The game itself and this is so good, and I'm so happy that I'm a part of it. And it's just like an awesome experience to even be there. It's an honor. It's like I still can't believe it. I went to so I'm in Vancouver, and I went down to Broadway and Cambie, and there's a GameStop there, and I was walking down and I saw a poster for Fire Emblem Engage, and I saw my character. So I and I've done gigs before and parts before where that have a lot of marketing, but nothing to like the extent of like my character is on the front of the poster. So I was I'm still over the moon, and I'm still psyched. And even in being in this industry for about 8 years, it just kind of finds new ways to surprise you.
Hmm. Well, which aspects of Alfred could you relate the most to?
He's very just kind of happy-go-lucky, glass half full rather than glass half empty. I'm very much like that. And there are also times, where he'll like just like where he'll go up to Boucheron, for example, and look at his muscles and everything, and he'll make these like decisions, and he'll just really like kind of go for it. And I'm in terms of like almost like I guess kind of getting too carried away.
Right.
And I yeah, and so like I tend to find myself just like, like I guess the word is not like impulsive, but it's like I tend to, me personally, not Alfred, I tend to find myself being like just like kind of being impulsive my entire life, literally since I was a little kid. Um and also I tend to be uh I tend to be very much like, cuz like he knows, what, like for example, like with Boucheron, he looks at his muscles, and he really wants to achieve those muscles, and he wants to know the secret. And when I get really interested in something, I want to know all about it as well. Like I want to know the details of it. I want to know what's going on, how did that happen, where. Um and another thing is I just I love how Alfred is so positive, how he can see even the smallest positivity in things. And like when he first encounters like Yunaka, without worry as to startling her, he doesn't even think twice about it. He's just like, I'm her prince. I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna make her feel better. It doesn't matter what she feels sad about. This is what I've got to do. And it's such a great aspect to have. And I feel like, um you know, even though Lear was like, I was afraid, we were gonna scare her, and it's like, yeah, it's like I personally, I've experienced that too, where it's like, oh man, but at the same time, it's like it's such a good aspect to have when you just jump straight forward and you want to help and you want to try your best to be a good person.
What are your I know you mentioned a couple of them, but what are your favorite character interactions that he has with other characters?
Oh, I well, there's been one that's been making the rounds, which is with Vale,
Yeah.
with the spicy soup. That's one of my faves. And then basically everything between Alfred and Saline. Like I love the part where Alfred's like, I'm gonna dig a hole, And then Saline is like, "What? Why not just go to the go go down there to get it instead of digging a hole?" It's like that doesn't make any sense. And later on it gets into some very kind of deep character driven stuff. Also just like in general, just with Boucheron, like Boucheron, when he levels up, for example, Boucheron will say something. He'll say something like, did my muscles just get bigger? Like, oh, sorry, Prince Alfred. Like like he's actually like, oh, I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
It's like my muscles are so huge. And then just like he wants to try so hard to get these big muscles, and like he thinks there's like some kind of like secret behind it, and he really wants to unlock it. And I'm not going to get into like spoilers or anything, but I really do appreciate the reason as to why Alfred wants to do this and why he feels the need to, and how it will affect not only him but also his kingdom, and how he feels kind of an obligation. So that definitely also struck a chord with me too.
Mhm. It was a bummer that he didn't have any interactions with Rosato.
Yeah, I'm actually only on chapter 6, so I I haven't gotten there yet. But I'm very much enjoying playing the game so far, and yeah, I think is Rosato. I'm trying to remember who voices Rosato. Is it Koi Dao?
No, that's Brian Anderson.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. God, I feel so bad.
It's okay.
I remember now. Yeah, he made a meme that said live Alfred reaction.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, yeah, no, I've been so busy lately, but I've been enjoying the game so much. I literally just finished the first paralogue
Okay.
to yeah, very very recently, and I just unlocked Jean. So I'm yeah, and so I'm having a really good time. I was able to I'm trying to remember. I was able to save all the I was able to go to all the houses, but I wasn't able to save all the villagers, and I felt really bad about that. But you live and you learn. And I feel like if you're playing a game and you feel like, if you fail to save them and the character is guilty about it, that's going to add to the player's guilt on top of that. At least that's how I kind of like understand it. So it's a cool kind of meta way to get get to know the characters better, whereas their guilt almost kind of becomes your own. And like almost like vice versa, because you're the one that did it. I mean, you did it together, but you're the one, controlling, putting your hands on the controller. So
Yeah. Well, I think one reason too why people are enjoying Engage so much is because of the great like same sex options that are in it finally again.
yeah, yeah. Alfred can be Alfred can be he can be straight, he can be gay depending on, your preference and what you want. It's great. I think it's awesome.
Which other characters are your favorite personally?
Oh, I don't I really like I just really like Boucheron. Because
Yeah.
he's like this sensitive sweetheart who, he reads books and he'll cry, but he's got like a sensitive soul, but he's also, he's not quite used to battling at first when the game starts. He's really trying to get used to the heat of battle, and he's kind of like forced into it. So that's great. I also just really I like Yunaka a lot too. Just because, like, the part where she's like, I have a killer's eyes. And then
Mhm.
Alira's like, yeah, can you say that? What? And then she's like, no, I just, yeah, nothing. What? Don't worry about it. So there's that. She's cool because, um, it's just, it's great because, like, almost like you never know what she's gonna say next regarding that kind of thing.
Mhm. It does look like too that that you're becoming friends with a lot of the other cast members already.
Yeah, so actually Lara Stahl, who plays Alir, was actually my voice director on a movie called Goodbye Donglise,
Oh, cool.
which was released theatrically.
Yeah.
So it's cool that we're both in the game together. How I play Alfred and she plays female Alir. And a lot of the other voice actors, like Rachel, who plays Saley, and yeah, I've kind of just and Joe Hernandez as well. I've just kind of started talking to them, just like a little bit, and yeah, it's great because once you do these new projects in voiceover, you not only get to celebrate, it existing in all its, in all its glory, but you also get to meet new faces and, like behind, behind the voices. And it's great because then that leads to, well, maybe you'll be part of another project together someday, sometime in the near future, maybe further on, but it's great to know each other because then at least, you have you have a common person in the mix in terms of you know who in this wild industry that we call the voiceover industry, which I love and have continued to love and will continue to love for about, because I started around 2014. Yeah, I started taking lessons in 2012, late 2012, and my first gig was 2014. So almost 10 years. Wow.
So you have more affinity to pursue voiceover opposed to live action then?
So yeah, I really love on camera. As a kid, I didn't like it much because I didn't like all the waiting around and I was just a very impatient kid. But now I love on camera as well. Obviously voiceover is like, like my one true love, but I love on camera as well. So I'm open to doing both, and I just I like one. I really like one, and I really like the other. But um, voiceover, there's something about it that I just love, that I have the most fun, that I can just really dedicate myself to. That is so great.
Are you the kind of person too that you'd like do you not mind hearing yourself in projects that you're in? Like if you're playing or watching something?
I had to get used to it at first because when you're in like middle school, you're kind of like self-conscious, about a lot of things. But over time, you're kind of almost like forced to get used to it. I mean, for me at the very least, for me, it kind of got used to itself and sorted itself out in a way that felt natural because you hear it enough and you see it enough that it actually is, yeah, it kind of becomes almost normal but not quite at the same time. It's never going to feel like completely normal, but yeah.
Or like when you heard yourself in Engage, like you're very totally cool with that too.
I mean, I was extremely excited. But it's also, but yeah, it is also just, it kind of almost comes with the job at the same time. It's like, wow, that's really amazing. But also it makes sense. Whereas before in middle school, when I just started, it was like, I can't believe this. And like, it doesn't make sense to me. Whereas you realize that, well, that's just what you do, that's your life. That's what you kind of realize later on.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, back to Alfred. What are the biggest differences between you and him, personality wise?
The biggest differences, I would say, so Alfred likes working out a lot. I need to work out more, but I've been trying, and Alfred has actually inspired me to keep working out more, believe it or not. So there's that. So I live in, like, because I'm in Vancouver, BC at the moment. He's in, like, he's from Firenze. So he lives in this like amazing grassy, sunny kingdom, whereas in Vancouver it's always rainy and very foresty.
Yeah.
So there's that, but there's some crossover there with like fauna and like, greenery. So there's that. I don't have a sister. I have a brother, as a lot of people would know, but um like brothers and sisters and brothers, we bicker, but we also love each other, which is, I guess that's more of a, I relate to Alfred in a way. There's not much, honestly, that I don't relate to. in with Alfred. I feel like I don't know, I feel like we have a lot in common. I'm struggling to think of things that I don't like, a lot of things that I don't have in common with. I mean, there's something later on. I will say this, the thing I probably relate to most with Alfred, one of the things I relate to most with is him just trying his best, knowing that the odds may or may not be against him, which is true with, a lot of voice actors. For example, like I'm neurodivergent, for example. So my dad always told me as a kid, you got to work twice as hard as everyone else to do kind of like the same amount of work. But my, neurodivergency aside, at least for me, um, it's also just like, being in this industry is really tough, but at the same time, if you're trying your best and you're having fun, like for example, Alfred just loves running and just, loves doing his best, being nice, working out, then it'll kind of, as long as you have an enjoyment in what you do, then it should all be okay in the end. Because if you love what you do, then, you know, that's that's all you need. Of course, if you need to make a living, of course. I've always said about voiceover, if you can't make a living at voiceover, keep doing it anyway if it's something you really love. Do something on the side, and in the meantime, take classes, do everything you need to think in order to be the best voice actor you can be. And then who knows, one day, if it's something you really care about, is something you love, you might start making a good living at it. But but you're not going to start making a living at it unless it's something you really care about, and it's something that you put a lot of dedicated time into, and unfortunately with a little bit of luck as well. But as long as you're having fun, you're having fun. So
Well, if Alfred gets to come back for anything later, what would you personally like to see for his character or story arc or anything?
I I kind of just, well, for now, I kind of just want people to see the experience that he's got going on right now. Because I mean, it's a quite a lengthy trek through through, you know, all the different kingdoms and the journey itself. So I think I want, honestly, people to just see what's going on with Alfred right now, see what makes all the other characters tick, and just on building on their relationship and everything like that, and just enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey, and kind of, you know, see what they think in the end. And I think most people are going to be really satisfied. I just really, yeah, I just think the camaraderie of everyone and the journey itself is so great that I think that it should be experienced first before delving into anything else.
Well, is there anything that you want to say to the Fire Emblem community then?
I genuinely, I love you all. The fan art has been fantastic for Alfred. I want to seriously thank you all for playing Fire Emblem Engage, for enjoying Alfred, for enjoying my performance as Alfred. I can't thank you all enough. Even though I don't like every message on Twitter, I usually see everything. Just because, I don't I just don't have that much time. So I really enjoyed everything that you've sent me. Thank you so much. And keep playing, and I'm honored to play Prince Alfred of Fierne.
Well, my final question then is always asking, what do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy. I want as a voice actor or just in general,
Or both, yeah.
I want my legacy to be one where I can enjoy what I've done with my life, and others can also enjoy it as well. I'll I want to be satisfied with and happy and live without regrets in terms of how I approach my career, how I approach my life. I want to do things right, and we're all, and we're human, and obviously we can't all do things right all the time. But as long as you're on the right track, as long as you have the right mindset of what to do, what to learn. If you make mistakes, don't run from them, learn from them. And just I guess, just trying to be a good person and living life knowing that you're doing something that you love and that other people can look, because if you're a voice actor, you're in projects, and I don't want just myself to enjoy it. I also want others to enjoy it, because at the end, that's who it's for. So if they're happy, I'm happy. But it'll make me even happier knowing that they enjoyed it, on top of the work that I put into, just into doing it. So I know that it's not an easy thing, obviously, of course, to have a job that you love, to enjoy doing something that is your main kind of like main squeeze. And I realize that, and I feel very privileged to have this life. And just know that for someone like me who struggled a lot as a child in terms of my neurodivergency, um it's not impossible. If you have neurodivergency, if you are if there's any, anything that you think, has the world against you, there's obviously, of course, some truth to that, because I've been through it, and a lot of other people have been through it as well. But just know that it's not impossible. It's not. If you keep trying, if you really, really do it, if you keep trying to fight for change, then odds are you're in the right you're in the right lane. You're doing it right. Keep fighting for what you want, and for fighting for what's right.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that we got to do this.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Chris.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day then.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.